بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Our dear guests, our dear speakers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. On behalf of the Industrial Valley in King Abdullah Economic City, I would like to welcome you all to the Digital Transformation in Industrial Sectors online webinar. My name is Wissam Kabli, Senior Manager Business Marketing and Communication in King Abdullah Economic City, and I will be your host and moderator of today's webinar. Digital transformation has impacted our lives and it's changing the way we do business across different levels today. Today, terms such as artificial intelligence, blockchain, Internet of Things, cloud systems are very close to become the norm in how business is conducted. In the next hour, our guest speakers will take you in a journey with their keynote speeches on digital transformation applications and experiences and how it can build the way to a better future in industrial sectors. At the end of the session, there will be a 15-minute Q&A session, so please submit your questions in the chat box below and identify the speaker you want to address the question. Our first guest speaker of this afternoon is the mastermind behind transforming King Abdullah Economic City into a smart city through leveraging the latest technologies and innovative digital solutions to foster socio-economic development and enhance aspects of the city's livability, workability, and sustainability. With over 15 years of experience, he will be taking us through a very interesting journey of transforming digitally an experience for a whole city. Please welcome Ms. Wafa Al-Hamidi, Chief Executive Officer of Emaar Knowledge Company and Chief Information Officer of Emaar the Economic City.
Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. We will be taking you through the next few minutes. We're going to dive into the digital transformation realm globally and zooming into Saudi and then zooming into KAEC. So let me share the screen with you. So I hope everyone could see my screen. Talking about digital transformation, we need to make sure that we look at the global trends that are always changing by the day, I would say. I would like to perhaps step back 50 years or so. Technology has always been about hardware, software, data, automating a process, increasing productivity, and then you rinse and repeat. Then a few years ago, we entered into a major disruption era. So to put things into perspective, I'm sure everyone right now is sitting with their smartphone within reach. So I'd like you to just hold your smartphone for a second, check it out, and imagine that this smartphone has more processing power than all the systems, the back-end systems in NASA that put 2 astronauts on the moon in 1969. So it's crazy, right? Digital is impacting how we are living, how we are operating, how we're going about our businesses. From wearable technologies and smart equipments, you know, my smartwatch is telling me to take a deep breath, to neutral interfacing, in which the study of brain wavelengths and uploading your thoughts into machines, to the logistics industry, talk about robotics and augmented intelligence. It's moving at the light of speed. Another area I would like to unpack that personally I feel is very important, and what I call the rise of the experience economy. I would like everyone going forward to try to replace the word buy and sell in your professional vocabulary with experience. So it's not about the product or the services or the goods that you're buying or selling. It's about how you're experiencing these products. That's much more important than the product itself. That emotional connection that you have with the product is the lingering taste that would actually make customers loyal to your brand. Now, we should always learn from history. From the likes of Blockbuster, who refused to buy Netflix, to Kodak, to Borders, who refused to join hands with Amazon for ebooks and e-readers. These companies stopped existing. A study done by McKinsey recently shows that over 75% of businesses will attempt to become fully digital by 2021, out of which less than 50 will actually succeed. So just think about that. Let it sink in for a second. There are companies that would literally stop existing. There are other companies who can turn crisis into opportunities, such as Zoom, and that's allowing us to have this webinar today, that actually turn that into an advantage. So for us to avoid the destiny of Borders and Kodak and Blockbuster, we need to really do one very important thing. We need to unlearn everything we've ever learned, from school to college to all our professional career. It's very hard, but I think unlearning is something that is very important, that would allow us to reinvent ourselves and innovate. And of course, the cliche terminology of thinking outside the box and taking risks. This is, you really do need to kind of get out of your comfort zone when it comes to digitally going about your business. Zooming from the global to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is such a young country. It's less than 100 years old. That we have such a digital savvy population. Over 60% of the country's population are under the age of 30. They are mobile, they're very efficient, they have no patience. Imagine that we have actually more mobile users or more mobile subscriptions than population in the country, because you have a lot of people that actually have 2 mobiles. So your captive market for whichever industry you're in is right there. We have the guiding principles under Vision 2030 to position Saudi in the top 20 in the Smart City World Index. I read something that was very interesting, a few days ago. They did a study that shows that people own more smartphones than they actually own toothbrushes. So it really gives you that perspective of the importance of digital, and most importantly, the importance of mobility. And we're very vocal as a population. We are number 1 when it comes to social media. So all our brands are exposed with the help of social listening and BI and artificial intelligence. Everything that you do and how you interact with your customers is all out there transparently for the entire world to see. Now zooming, we started global, we looked at the big picture, we zoomed into Saudi Arabia. Let's zoom into King Abdullah Economic City. It's a beautiful place by the Red Sea. I really hope, whoever is watching got a chance to visit. But what we are trying, the way we think about KAEC, think about it as a product as well. At the end of the day, you experience a product, you experience a city. You want to digitize your entire sectors, from the global logistics to ease of doing business, whether you're an entrepreneur or a startup or a business that's relocating to the city, to digitizing and unifying the entire customer experience. Customer, whether it be the visitor or resident. If you did not get a chance to visit the city, I also encourage you to download Discover KAEC and perhaps take a virtual tour and walk through the city through your mobile and experience our communities and the services of the city. Now, experiences are not only the ones that we see. There are experiences that are underground, that are the fundamental basics and foundation that would allow you to go about your digital transformation. And I'm talking about a robust telecom infrastructure. Currently, King Abdullah Economic City has the highest ratio within the region when it comes to fiber to the home. So every home, every business, every tenant within the city is connected to fiber. And I'm sure we've all experienced, leaving our houses, seeing roads being dug up and potholes. And so this is something that we have actually built 10 years ahead and scaled 50 years from now to make sure that we do have state-of-the-art infrastructure that would allow you to continue expanding your digital assets and initiatives. Let's now go into the niche. Why this is, what are the main differentiators for us as a city? The beauty of it is we are the master developer of the city. That allows us to own the entire experience from A to Z. Not only that, that allows us to also work and co-create our digital initiatives with our residents, with our investors, with our visitors. So creating that closed feedback loop in which you can, go to market faster and listen to the voice of your customers, give us that niche and competitive advantage to automate this experience or digitize this experience. So what am I talking about here? I'm talking about buying a home from your home. So you're on your couch browsing. We want to take the home buying experience to a complete different level, where you can walk into the city, check out the amenities, visually be able to really see what you're moving into. How you can do that? Also with an AI and chatbot, our newly born Sarah chatbot, that would give you instant input and feedback and answers your questions. And this is, again, when we talk about experience. As a customer, I want to get the information I need at the time that I need it. And this is where AI really helps differentiate any digital experience or any city. Talking as well about the residents, it's very important as part of your attention to your customers, to your residents, is to continue allowing them to contribute to advancing your digital transformation. So allowing them to have a voice through a resident portal, so you can have a platform and an ecosystem where they are actually hand in hand digitizing the experience with you. Because they are the ones who know exactly what they need out of this experience. Now the cherry on top. And to me, this is the most important aspect of what we're trying to achieve as a digital transformation. Data, data, data. There's a lot of sayings that data is the new oil, but having just data out there does not really help unless you put it into perspective, you learn from it, and you ensure that your operational efficiency for the city is utilizing this data. So you want to move from a reactive to predictive to cognitive. And this is, I think, the ultimate goal for any industry or any city with their digital transformation, to proactively fix issues before they become problems. And of course, this is efficient to the master developer, and efficient to the customer as well. With a one click, one button, they can get most of the information that they need in real time. So not only looking at data and numbers and graphs, but expanding into creating a digital twin, seeing your data in a geospatial manner also gives this more relevance. So I would like to leave you with few learnings. We can talk about digital transformation for days, and each and every topic I've talked about requires a lot of discussion and depth. However, when you think about digital transformation, whether it be it for your business, for a city, for your industry, for logistics, one very important thing that I would like to leave you with is fail fast, fail often. I know, it's something that by the time you get to perfect your variables and mitigate your risks, technology becomes obsolete. Thomas Edison took, I believe, more than 9,000 failed attempts to actually invent the light bulb. So you need to lead by iteration when it comes to your digital. Another learning that's very important is partnering with the government, partnering with other private sectors, because you need to ensure you have an evolving operating model that's financially viable. Because at the end of the day, you need to really keep financial sustainability right there at the center of it all for you to be able to succeed in whatever you're doing. The third and last learning is always have a North Star. So when it comes to digital, your strategies can change. Your plans can change. However, always keep a North Star, understand where you're heading to, and then the way to get there can be different and can change with time. So this is, I've been told that I have, my time is up. This is just sort of a fly-through across what we're doing in the city. What is digital transformation in a nutshell? And hopefully, more webinars of that kind would come so we can get to deep dive into most of these topics that I've talked about. I turn it to Wissam.
Thank you very much, Wafa, for the amazing presentation and showing us how the crucial role of digital transformation can really take the experience of customer, residents, and investor into the next level. The level of infrastructure KAEC takes into consideration is huge, and as Wafa mentioned, takes it to a whole new level, 50 or more years ahead. Our next guest speaker brings in 20+ years experience in consultancy services, both in strategy and implementation, with more than 50 leader companies consultants such as GSK, Novartis, British Petroleum, and Siemens, who will enlighten us today about a very interesting and huge part of digital transformation, which is Industry 4.0, and some of the success stories of his company, Altron, with leading companies in the market. He's the managing director of the world-class of advanced manufacturing global service, line lead of manufacturing, engineering tech, supply chain quality operations, and asset management. Please welcome Dr. Ramon Antelo.
Thank you, Wissam. It's a pleasure to be here. Ms. Hasimi has before said that digital technologies and communications are changing our lives. And that is true. That is true. But is it also true in the industrial operations? Most of you will be probably familiar with the Industry 4.0 term. My question here, is it a hype or is it a reality? Well, our experience, we have been working in this for the last 15 years. Our experience here shows that it's both of them. For some, it's a hype. And for some, it's a reality. The idea of this short talk today is to try and make sure that we walk through some of the use cases of the ones that have succeeded and the main reasons of the ones that are failing and will probably continue to fail in the future. And that's the main point which I have for today, trying to separate what is important from what is not so important, what will make you succeed and what will make you fail. I will start with a brief introduction, go through some use cases and how people address these topics, and then finally wrap up with the approach that we tend to consider when transforming your industrial operations. Okay, there's a lot of money being invested in that. And most of you will be familiar with artificial intelligence, the robotics, the augmented reality, and all that stuff applied to the industry. My question is all this money being invested wisely? Is all this money profitable from that point of view? The question from our experience says the answer is no. And no for some reasons. You can see that more than 60% of all Internet of Things projects fail. Basically fail. They mean they just stop in the proof of concept. They don't get scaled up. Okay. 70%, and that's not only Altran, it's also McKinsey saying that digital transformation projects do not deliver the value. And most people don't have success criteria to say if they have achieved any value or if they are moving in the right direction. So yeah, for those companies, this is a hype. It's not a reality. The problem with hypes is that make you invest a lot of money, get the high expectations of everyone, the board, CEOs, CXOs, and then nothing is delivered. Although the technology and the application and the use cases might be profitable for your company. Okay? Basic challenges that we are seeing in most companies that we are working for is first, how to measure the success. Because it's not a problem of me too. Everyone is doing digital transformation, so I have to do it. So the most, I mean, if I have a good amount of proof of concepts, then I'm doing right. No, that's not true. Okay. The real truth is how more competitive I am now than I was 3 years ago. Am I better than my competition? Am I worse? Has anything changed? Those are the real key measurements to evaluate if we are having success here, right? And I would say one of the main barriers is the scale up. Most companies are doing proof of concepts. They are testing the technology in different applications in their companies. But the reality is that very few are able to scale that to fully benefit from those technologies. Then we will see what it means here, right? In the case of the factories and the industrial operations, there's an evolution, okay? This evolution, I mean, it's not Altran model, it's a KAEC model, which is widely known, and I think it's fine. From moving to computers, to full adaptability, cognitive, and autonomous factories, okay? So there's a whole roadmap in front of us. Not just connectivity, not just visibility, not the technology itself, is how we intend to use all those technologies and all those steps, okay? And to be able to progress in that roadmap, we tend to suggest that there are 3 basic clusters of use cases. And this is what we have seen in the last 15 years, right? You can get them, you can group them in 5, in 6 and 7, okay, it's not a problem. For us, 3 is a good number, okay? The first area of use cases is what we call enhanced operators, being able to augment your people with more skills. And those skills can be physical skills, can be cognitive skills, can be sensorial skills, can be anything, allowing them to do their job in a more competitive way, in a safer way. The second cluster is the same thing applied to the assets. How can we make sure that our machines, our facilities are more autonomous, have some intelligence embedded into that, and can deliver better performance than they were used to and intended to. And finally, the third cluster is when we connect everything and we have all our ecosystems and we have full visibility of what is happening in our whole ecosystem. That includes our whole supply chain, our whole facilities, whole production lines, the people, and all that stuff. So that we can make sure that we have the best information at any time to take the best decisions. Okay, this is what we have seen as the main clusters, but maybe it's interesting that we deep dive into some of the use cases that some companies have embarked on and have successfully implemented, okay? First one, Sanofi, which is a big pharmaceutical company, has started working on what they call the ESOP, electronic SOP. That means bringing the information of the standard operating procedure to the technicians in the lab so that they make less mistakes and are sure that they comply with the stringent regulations and procedures in the pharmaceutical industry. Obviously, this is based on a different set of technologies, okay? But one thing that's important is that although it's about augmented reality, connectivity, and paperless lab, it's something that is user-friendly. The technicians don't have to wear the goggles. It's a projection system, okay? That's one example. Another example is Siemens working in the digital twins of their gas turbines to make them more effective and make sure that they are always performing in the sweet spot of the machine and being able to anticipate any problems that might happen in the future, okay? They started with 2 series and they will then scale it to the next series. A completely different example is how this company, which is a retailer in the UK, fully automated the warehouse. I mean, automating the warehouse is one thing, but making sure that you have the right connectivity so that each device knows what to do when they have to do it, it's a great challenge in this case, right? And in this case, what the company did was create a full private wireless network inside the warehouse to be able to cope with 1 million deliveries per day and connect more 1,000 devices to that. So otherwise, it would be impossible. The automation, the hardware automation would be there, but the communications automation would not be there. Another example, it's another pharmaceutical manufacturer, is how they used data gathering, connectivity, machine learning to make sure that every time they started producing a batch, it would be a good batch. Because a bad batch is a lot of money they lose, okay? That's another example of how these companies are using it, or how they're starting to use the 5G communications technology to make sure that they can deliver what they expect to deliver in terms of, for example, in these cases, 5G-enabled maintenance with remote support. Obviously, if you want to share video and share instructions and share many things, you need specific bandwidth, low latency, microservices, the ability to develop what you want to do and how you want to move your network on. And that's something that you can do with your private wireless networks or using 5G or something similar, okay? That's another example. Novartis, which is another pharmaceutical company, obviously, is working on connecting all the equipment in all their sites to the historian services so that they can have full visibility of what is happening at every factory, at every production line, at every machine. And then they can take best decisions. And scaling to 60 sites is what really brings the benefits for them, because doing it in one site, in one line, in one machine makes no difference whatsoever. Spreading that across the 60 sites is what really makes a difference, okay? There are many other examples here, but what I think that could be relevant is how we can do that. And a tailor-made application, which is basically what everyone will like to do, is taking into account that the benefits come from the use cases. Then you have to combine a set of technologies. It's not only one technology that will deliver the results. It's a combination of those technologies, and the integration of those technologies in a solid business case that will make you succeed with that solution. Don't think of implementing digital technologies as implementing digital technologies. Think of what is the important thing that I want to solve. How do I close the gap with my competitors if I'm behind? How do I extend the gap with my competitors if I'm more advanced than them? And then see how those technologies can help you, not the other way around. And one important thing is that there is a clear roadmap that we have seen that usually increases your probabilities of success. First, have a roadmap. You have to know where you want to invest, because money is scarce. You don't want to spread the money in 100 different things that will bring no difference to you. Once you are sure that you want to invest the money in 3 or 4 initiatives, 5 initiatives, not more than that, because you have killed all the others, because they bring no business value to you, and that's something that has to be taken into account, then you prepare your transformation roadmap. And that transformation roadmap has to have some clear steps. First, you run a proof of concept. That proof of concept has to have the scaling requirements embedded in it. Otherwise, you will fail. And that proof of concept is to make sure that the technology and the combination of technologies delivers what you expect. But then you have to take that proof of concept and integrate it in your working environment, which is the minimum viable solution. And make sure that that solution can be scaled again to all the different sites, applications, or whatever. And finally, obviously, once this is successful, because many of them will fail in the process, then you will be able to scale. So my first, and I mean, my key message here is, first, if you don't want to make it a hype, always have the business value at the forefront of your thoughts. Second, oops, excuse me, it's the timer. Second, make sure that you have the right skills in integrating technologies, which is the key element here, not one technology, a combination of technologies. And third, be sure to embed the scaling requirements from the very beginning. I will now transfer to the rest of the speakers, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ramon, for the comprehensive presentation. I believe the audience will be interested to know more how to bring those solutions into reality, as Industry 4.0 is a very, very important and crucial subject into even the vision of 2030 in today's world. Our next guest speaker is a full professor of Management Information Systems and Operations Research in Prince Mohammed bin Salman College for Entrepreneurship. He has an academic career over 17 years and has taught courses focusing on MIS, supply chain, and logistics management. Shedding light on universities' role in digital transformation and how MBSC can contribute to digital transformation of King Abdullah Economic City and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Please welcome Dr. Erman Coxon.
Thank you very much. And good afternoon to everybody. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am here to talk about universities' role and especially MBSC's role in digital transformation in KAEC and Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And I will be trying to talk about what we are doing, how we can contribute to KAEC and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in terms of digital transformation, what we did and what we are planning to do in the near future. Okay, our college is, MBSC is aiming to develop a new generation of transformative leaders who can think creatively and act boldly. And our main purpose was creating entrepreneurs of all kinds. But right now, we are also focusing on creating new types of managers who can be very familiar with the latest technologies and who can be leading digital transformation leaders as well. So as MBSC, we have 2 academic programs, 1 executive MBA program, and we just launched a new Master in Management program, MIM program. And we also have some executive education programs who are trying to, which are trying to address the needs of industry and needs of businesses. And I would like to start why we need digital transformation in general. We need to understand why everybody is trying to digitally transform themselves. And then I think everything will be making more sense. Number 1, the first reason, the main reason for digital transformation is competition, okay? And everybody, all companies, all decision makers must make faster and better decisions. And these decisions should be data-driven in order to be accurate. Number 2, we have big data. We are dealing with big data, and transaction numbers are increasing every single day because there are a lot of communication lines, a lot of transactions, or a lot of trade happening all over the world. And transaction numbers increasing, it means we have larger data. But big data doesn't mean only amount of volume, but it should be also including velocity, variety, and veracity. So we are dealing with large amount of data, different types of data, real-time data, and variable data. So it requires digital transformation because with old systems, with legacy systems, we cannot handle this. Number three, we need knowledge instead of information. Information is not enough. Our old systems were producing information, but we need intelligence from our systems. And intelligence is produced through knowledge. So we need knowledge. As decision makers, we need knowledge. Another reason, transformation in economies. Everybody is trying to become a knowledge economy right now. Okay, and computers or information systems or digital transformation is more required for knowledge economies rather than manufacturing or agricultural economies. And of course, there are a lot of advancements in information and communication technologies, in hardware, network, software side. There are a lot of new developments who are pushing digital transformation further. And ICT literacy rate is increasing. And finally, we have generation X, Y, and Z. Right now, generation Z is taking place in business world, and they are digital natives. We were digital immigrants, but they are digital natives. So all of them are requiring all kinds of companies. We can also add the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, and everything is pushing companies or requiring companies to digitally transform themselves. Okay. When we look at the Saudi Arabia, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia case, there is a Vision 2030 plan. And in that Vision 2030 plan, it mentions that Saudi Arabia would like to be a knowledge society by 2030. And digital transformation is very, very important for becoming a knowledge society because you need to be able to produce knowledge instead of information or instead of just processing data. You need to produce knowledge. And without digital transformation, you cannot achieve this. So digital transformation is occurring throughout the world and in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And this slide is coming from my lectures or my courses. What are the key enablers of digital businesses? These are very important. We need to have a digital strategy. Without strategy, you cannot achieve digital transformation. You need to have a culture willing to experiment, take risks, and iterate. You need to have some workforce, digitally savvy talents to do digital transformation or digital businesses. And you need to train your employees, mentor your employees, and you need to support innovative projects coming from your employees. And you need leaders that are knowledgeable and supportive for digital transformation or for digital business. And finally, it is a surprising final sentence, but digital technologies themselves is the least critical. I think from an academic perspective, as a professor of management information systems, we are seeing a lot of companies are paying a lot of attention to technology part, but digital transformation projects are social technical projects. Okay, there's social side, and we need to focus more on social side. And technology is there. We can purchase technology, we can install technology. We have all that kind of opportunities for technology side, but the human side is very, very important. And as MBSC in our courses, we are focusing on both technology and human or managerial side of digital transformation. Okay, what could be university's role in digital transformation, especially in the MBSC's perspective? We have teaching. And we have experienced faculty members from all over the world. And our focus is entrepreneurship. But at the same time, entrepreneurship and digital transformation are getting along very nice. And we also have Babson College Partnership. I will be talking about details of what kind of courses we are offering related to digital transformation in our programs. On research side, MBSC's focus is local and regional research. Okay, we are focusing and we are trying to contribute to local or the country of Kingdom of Saudi Arabia more with our research. And we are looking forward to collaboration with Saudi businesses, public and private sector companies, and governmental organizations on research side. So we can address specific questions about Kingdom of Saudi Arabia or local businesses in Saudi Arabia. And of course, we would like to do also joint projects with industry and ecosystem partners. and it could be in different ways, consultancy. We are also trying to develop some cases for teaching methodologies, and we would like to include local companies or industrial valley companies for case writing purposes. And we have, as I mentioned, 3 programs. And in our executive MBA program, I'm teaching a global connections through technology course. Okay, it was designed by Babson College, and we are just customizing that for Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And these are the topics I will not be counting when we talk about digital transformation. Of course, we are talking about analytics, big data, social media, machine learning, IoT, Industry 4.0, digitization, digitalization, digital transformation. We are teaching all of them, but the most important part or distinguishing part for our course is we are focusing on managerial, human, and technology sides or issues all together. And we are using experiential learning. We are using real-life cases and case studies. We are also using simulations for our course. And I also offer elective courses in Executive MBA program, advanced topics in MIS, and advanced topics in business analytics and business intelligence. So students are choosing these elective courses, and we are more focusing on, these are directly related with digital transformation, and we are focusing on business analytics or business intelligence part. Okay. And what are the impacts of our academic programs? Yes, we are a young college. We are only 3 years old, but we established a lot, and we graduated some students, and we are seeing during their studentship or after their graduation, we are seeing that they start to contribute or they start to create some impact on digital transformation. Some of MR and EEC employees are our students. They are taking our courses and they are applying their learnings to their job. And some of them are attending our executive education programs. I remember for my cybersecurity executive education program, there were some employees. And there was some plans for cybersecurity training for KAEC employees. And some of our students during their studentship, they conduct some projects and studies involved KAEC. For example, one of our graduate students, Tekra, she worked on intelligent transportation system design for KAEC. So we are showing some impact on KAEC. For Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, we have many governmental employees. We have many private sector employees in our programs. And after their graduation, they took C-level positions, and some of them are becoming leaders of technology and digital transformation areas. And all of our students are benefiting from global connections through technology course and enhancing their ICT understanding. And for Industrial Valley, we didn't have a lot of contact until now, but we really would like to create similar impact with Industrial Valley businesses and companies. And we are in the same ecosystem and region, and we can collaborate a lot. These are some examples from our impact or our contribution. This was a project by our Executive MBA students, and they tried to create some or create a design of intelligent public transportation for King Abdullah Economic City. And these students were coming from Jeddah, and they worked on Namarik. Namarik is a small kind of hospitality place in KAEC, and they tried to digitally transform this hotel type business. And I just came up with this yesterday in LinkedIn, and he's a graduate of ours, and he's right now in charge of digital operations, and he's giving a webinar on create an efficient and integrated digital organization. So he took our courses, and of course he also brought his experience, and he's making some impact. And for our MIM program, it is a new program. It just started, and I will be teaching my course in December 2020. But for this program, we changed our course name from Global Connections Through Technology to Managing Digital Transformation, because we are very well aware that digital transformation is a very hot topic. Digital transformation should be taught in more detail. So we made that name change. And we will be also including some hands-on experience and real-life team projects on different areas of technology, management, and digital transformation in this course. And there might be some concentrations or electives for MIM program. Executive education, I think we contributed a lot. Of course, these are 3 programs, executive education programs I ran so far. And I will not again mention them, but the main topics for them was leading digital transformation, managing data, technology, human and relations, cybersecurity in the workplace program, and supply chain innovation program. They are all related with digital transformation or closely related with digital transformation. And who were the participants of our executive education programs? These are mostly director level people, senior level people, 21%, mid-management level people, 16%, entry level people, 5%, and C-level managers were 21% of our participants. And which industries they were coming from? Healthcare and government sector was the highest number, but we also had some students in our executive education digital transformation program we ran this summer. Manufacturing, retail, technology, telecommunications, all industries were participated. And finally, of course, we need to also contribute to digital transformation in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And I just wrote an article and it was published in Arab News. And I was talking about Saudi Arabia, how Saudi Arabia can turn crisis into opportunity with digital shift transformation. And finally, in terms of time, I think we are doing okay. Okay. KAEC is designed as a smart city, and smart city concept requires digital transformation. As Ms. Wafa mentioned, yes, smart cities should use information systems, analytics, data, knowledge a lot, and more collaboration on student projects because students can contribute a lot to KAEC during their studentship at MBSC, and we can contribute on this area. MBSC is heavily applying experiential learning and project-based classes. So we can assign our students to projects coming from KAEC, coming from Industrial Valley companies, or coming from other companies in other parts of the kingdom. Okay, and we provide online as well as face-to-face training sessions and education programs. And we are providing more big data, analytics, machine learning type of courses. And please remember that digital transformation projects are socio-technical systems or socio-technical projects, and we should be always considering managerial and human and people side of digital transformation projects. And as a college, this is my last sentence, as a college, we can provide our expertise in all these areas and can benefit from the companies, from the businesses for scientific research and for publications. Thank you for listening. Back to you, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Elman, for the great presentation. Looks like there's a lot of opportunities into the digital transformation for our students and executive education. We're looking forward for a bright future in the generations to come in taking Saudi Arabia into the next level. Our next guest speaker is the youngest in the group, yet he's a very strategic key member in bringing many of the strategic government engagements into reality in King Abdullah Economic City and the Industrial Valley. To give us an overview of the Industrial Valley strategic engagement and how the government can support investors in digital transformation initiatives, please welcome Engineer Basil Bukhari.
Thank you, Wissam, very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Good afternoon, everyone. Let me share my screen. I would like also to first thank Wafa and Dr. Rahman and Dr. Erman for the valuable information that they shared with you previously. I'll give you more brief about the Industrial Valley and I'll shed light also about our strategic engagement, as well as I'll cover the engagement with the SIDF about the topic that we are discussing today, which is the digital transformation for industry. So first of all, as you can see, this is the master plan for King Abdullah Economic City. The area that is highlighted in green is the Industrial Valley. The Industrial Valley is the area that is adjacent to King Abdullah Port, which is the only port that is developed and operated and owned by the private sector in the region. Giving the strategic location for King Abdullah Economic City, the Industrial Valley have direct access to the local market, as well as the international market through the Red Sea corridor. So if you allow me, I'll zoom in a little bit about the Industrial Valley to take you over overview on what do we have on ground today. The size of the Industrial Valley is sitting around 50 million square meter. And we were able so far to attract more than 120 leading companies in many different sectors, from a local, international, and the regional players, and many different clusters and sectors. When it comes to jobs, we have on ground around 5,000 plus jobs from white collar and blue collar, and that concluded in attracting an investment amount of 12 billion Saudi Riyal through in the Industrial Valley. As a products that we offer today, we offer a pre-built light manufacturing and warehousing units starting from 200 meters goes up to 10,000 square meter, as well as we have the office and the retail spaces for lease. Also, we have the service lands for sale and the service lands for lease. As a strategy, also, we're focusing on in the Industrial Valley and developing the industrial components inside King Abdullah Economic City. We have the specialized zone. I'll take, for example, the gas zone. That area, if you can see my cursor, that area is highlighted, the gas zone. It has a unique infrastructure which can benefit the investors who are using the natural gas to generate power, i.e. ceramic manufacturing and paper manufacturing. Given all the changes in the market, and as Wafa mentioned in the previous presentation, we as I'mar, the economic city, we developed King Abdullah Economic City, and we are the owner of the land. And we try very hard to add items every day into our value proposition. In order to do that, we looked at the market, and we came up with a strategy to be closer to every strategic partner in the market. This is a list on a very high level about our strategic partners today from a government perspective, to enable our tenants and to boost their investment inside King Abdullah Economic City. And that list is growing every day, which leads us to one of the most strategic engagement that we have today is the engagement and the agreement that we've signed with SIDF, or the Saudi Industrial Development Fund. One of the most strategic engagement to enable our tenants and to encourage them so they can expand, have more businesses inside King Abdullah Economic City. We've signed with SIDF previously on the land and loan product, but SIDF have many different other products that they offer to enable investors and industrial components inside King Abdullah Economic City. SIDF today are leading a great initiative to raise the awareness of the digital transformation for industry. And we would like to contribute with that initiative, so KAEC and its investors can be a contributor to that change, which is one of the main pillars of 2030 vision. That leads us to the product Tanafusiyya. Tanafusiyya basically support the operational improvements of the existing manufacturing based through technology implementation and digitizations. When it comes to an incentives, you can see it's open for all NIDLB sectors, which is well known, as well as it has an extended payment plan of minimum of 7 years. Also, when it comes to a grace period, it goes up to 24 months. That gives a flexibility for the investor to actually work smoothly, as well as the faster turnaround. So upon submission, the requirement, the SIDF will get back to the investor within 8 weeks. Also, you can benefit from the advisory service that SIDF can actually offer to the investors. Sorry. We understand that every case is unique, and every case is different than the other in terms of a digital transformation. That's why for us to assess you with that, we will share an application and a link after the session, inshallah, with everyone, so you guys can apply and put your inquiries, and we will do the necessary arrangement with SIDF to cater for your inquiries. Thank you again. We really look forward to work with each one of you, and we take that initiative to a next level when it comes to digital transformation. Thank you, and I'll hand over the mic again to my colleague, Wissam Kabli.
Thank you very much, Basil, for the informative presentation. We believe that the digital transformation subject is going to become the talk of every investor and industry, since all the speakers have given a lot of opportunities to tap into. We want to thank all the speakers, and right now we are ready for the Q&A session. I received a question for Wafa. Basically, the first question, it's saying, during the process of making King Abdullah Economic City into a smart city, what were the challenges you have faced in the digital transformation for customer experience in the city?
Thank you, Wissam. Actually, a few challenges. The most important challenge in any change or in any digital transformation is ensuring that you have an evolving operating model. At the end of the day, financial viability is very important. Measuring return on investment when it comes to technology, we all understand that it's a very complex exercise. So one of these challenges is to ensure that your operating model keeps evolving to ensure your financial sustainability. Another challenge, which I think what we're doing here is part of dealing with that challenge, is keeping these engagements going. Ensuring that engagements between the private sector, between semi-government agencies, between government is always working hand in hand, because that will impact the changes that are needed for our regulatory framework to expedite these digital transformations. So I would like to thank my IV colleagues for bringing together all these parties, from Altran to SIDF to our knowledge partner MBSC, because with these dialogues and continuing doing so, this is how we help each other kind of get over most of these challenges. And the last thing, which I also mentioned during my talk, is there is, by human nature, we're all resistant to change. So making sure that you always have a North Star and visualize your digital transformation and the target and the goal you want to reach is always very important, while at the same time being realistic and understanding the external circumstances and macro economy and how that impacts also any transformation in that regard.
Thank you very much, Wafa. So financial viability, keeping the operating model evolving, partnership between government and private sector, and having a Northern Star and a directional goal to reach. Thank you very much, Wafa. The next question is for Dr. Ramon. What are the killer questions industrial leaders should ask to get their digital transformation strategy right? Dr. Ramon?
Yeah, I mean, the killer questions, I would say, are basically two. The first one is, how is all these investments in my digital strategy going to change my competitive position? It's not just a me too, a follower, because everyone is doing digital things, I have to do it. So this is the first one. And the second one is, which are the foundations, both in terms of technology, organization, and culture, that have to be met before being able to progress there. Many people is concerned about cybersecurity, for example. Some people is trying to build applications without having a solid IT, OT network to support those applications. So I would say if we do not have a clear answer to any of those questions, we should go back to the lab and rethink again how we're going to address it. I think that answered the question. I hope, at least.
I believe so. It's not about following. It's not about me too. You have to have the foundations to be met and concerned about the security, and you should have a strong backbone. Otherwise, you should rethink your strategies to make the transformation go smooth. The next question will be to Dr. Erman. What are the opportunities of entering the job business world for MBSC program graduates after giving us a lot of opportunities in the college for the students and executive students?
Okay, thank you very much. Since it is an MBA program, graduate program, most of our students are coming us with a job. But and we are a young college, and we just started to give some graduates to business environment. And we are, based on our analysis, we are seeing every day our graduates are being promoted to managerial positions. And that was the goal of MBSC. And I'm also happy to see that most of our MBA graduates are taking some kind of technology-related positions, and they are advancing very fast. They are being promoted very fast. And I just show you some examples during my presentation. And in government sector, in private sector, there are many, many graduates who are being promoted to managerial positions. And our focus is also entrepreneurship. And we are also seeing the benefits of that. And we are seeing a lot of our graduates, they are starting a startup project during our courses, and they advance that projects, and they are creating their own companies. And I'm very happy to share that at least 4 or 5 recent graduates, they are working on digital transformation area, and they are helping companies on different aspects of digital transformation, and they are showing their expertise or their knowledge on their positions, and they are just helping with digital transformation of different companies in different sectors.
Thank you very much, Dr. Erman. Sounds like a promising world. Our last question, due to time, will be to our Mr. Engineer Basil. Can you give us an example of the technologies to be used to qualify for the support for the SIDF Tanafusiya program?
Well, this is a very good question. Again, it's the engagement with the SIDF and the campaign that the SIDF are leading, and the offering that they are giving for investors is actually more of a 360 offering. So it's wide. The digital transformation, as Dr. Aman, Dr. Rahman, and Wafa mentioned, it's a very wide topic. However, that's why for us to understand the inquiries and we can assist it with this IDF, we need you and we encourage you to submit whatever you are requesting so we can assist it with this IDF. However, when it comes to digital transformation for the facility, it's up and running, or it might be some of the investors who want to take advantage of that initiative before they establish their facilities. So it can be from a system overall or an operational aspects, digital transformation. So again, it's very wide. It's very open subject. So that's why we want to get all the inquiries and assess it one by one with this IDF and do the necessary arrangement accordingly. I hope that I answered your questions.
Thank you very much, Basil. Sounds like there's a lot of areas that SIDF can support, so we urge everyone to submit his inquiry. At the end of the webinar, I would like to thank our speakers for their great and amazing presentations and enriching our knowledge into the field. Thank you all for attending and giving us the opportunity and time. Wishing you all a pleasant day and hope to see you soon.